Welcome back to another episode of the Conjugate Dads podcast. I'm your host, Dave Chase, with my other co-host here, Justin Commodores, on this special Thanksgiving week. So happy Thanksgiving to all those who celebrate. And if you're not celebrating on Thursday, find something fun to do on Thursday.
Sorry.
Anyway, yeah. As you know, I'm from the place where Thanksgiving was created. So big week for me. Justin, how are we feeling today?
Good. I see you're every week another win is on the board.
Yep.
Dave gets happier.
Yes, it's 9 wins in a row, 10-2 overall, number one seed, just in case anyone forgot, in the AFC, and number one seed in the entire NFL. So we're the first
And lost
10
your
wins.
starting left tackle.
For a couple of weeks. They said that they'll find out at the left guard too. So they actually have two injuries on the offensive line. The ankle injury to Jared Wilson, our left guard, and then our left tackle, Will Campbell. Both rookies, both in the draft, got them pretty high. I would say that as long as they are back on the field, they have Monday night, this coming Monday, against the Giants. They have a bye week, and then they're playing, I believe, the Ravens. So we're just hoping that they're back for the Ravens.
If it's not, do they know for a fact it's not an ACL tear?
Yeah. Yes. I'm sorry.
Okay.
They're playing the Bills on the 14th of December, then the Ravens in Baltimore, in New Jersey against the Jets, and then home against the Dolphins to end the year. These are all very winnable games. So If anything, they could go as good as 15-2, and they could obviously go as worse as 10-7. So we'll find out. I think they're definitely going to get in the playoffs, but you just got to get into the tournament and see what happens. That's what Bill
it's hard
Parcells
to
said.
see them. I don't see them losing to the Giants. I know Jameis played good and everything, but I don't
love
see
playing
them
for him.
Yeah, I don't see them. They should have pulled the trigger on him, and that's a money situation. We spent all this money on Russell Wilson and a first round pick. Jameis should have came out the gate.
No picks. Well, you're talking about Jackson Dart.
Yeah.
I think if he was healthy, then they should have. They would still go back to, or they might go back to Jackson Dart. And I do think he's a good quarterback. Have you watched him?
No, I agree. I just
decent.
think they should have started with Jameis
instead
and then Russ. Just let whatever play out was going to play out.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, now you called it on I think that was our last episode, firing Daboll. They already fired the defensive coordinator, Shane Bowen, and now they have Mike Kafka, who's been their interim head coach since they fired Daboll. And I mean, he's not anything special, honestly, but the roster is just decimated with injuries, and their defense, I mean, is actually pretty decent in my opinion. So that's what's going to be the interesting part of the game. I mean, even the Patriots this past Sunday, I mean, they won by 6 points, no Jamar Chase, but they also didn't have Trey Hendrickson and Shamar Stewart. So you have two pass rushers out of the game, plus their top receiver, possibly the best receiver in the game when he's healthy.
But they still have Brian Burns. They still have Kayvon Thibodeau. They still have Dexter Lawrence.
Yeah. And Abdul Carter.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So come on. Yeah. It sounds to me that whole situation was it's got to be coaching when you have that much talent, right? If you have all that going on, and then you have all these other players that you let go that are now performing great in different systems, like Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley, and
Did you mention Brian Burns during that? Okay, yeah. No,
he's second in the league in sacks.
So good.
So, but I do think his production is a product of the other players that are around him. Someone's gonna produce,
it's in
that system.
The same as Micah Parsons being in Green Bay now that Rashawn Gary.
Yep.
And other players can get home because they're going to focus so much on Micah. And Micah's still performing really well as well.
Yeah, he's still in top 5.
Sacks. Yeah.
Who's Myles Garrett's just ridiculous, dude. That guy, I don't think he's a generational talent. I think he's a once-in-a-lifetime talent.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, he has to get 5 sacks in 6 games to break the record.
He's got 18. Burns has 13. Daniil Hunter, 11. Will Anderson Jr., 10.5. Michael Parsons, 10. I mean, that's crazy. And you look at this list for top 5 interceptions, too. Making sure I got his name right. Yeah, Kevin Byard III is tied with 5. J.C. Horn, who had one last night for Carolina, with 5. I think it's Nashawn Wright, who I guess was like a practice squad guy. I forgot where he was last year. Maybe it was Minnesota. Also tied with 5. Earl Edmonds, Chicago, with 4. And then Devin Lloyd with Jacksonville, 4. And I think he actually missed a couple games. I mean, 3 people in the top 5 being from Chicago. We do I think that everyone focuses on the NFL and like is thinking offense, 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 and hey, like you need to make sure the trenches are good. The offense is definitely important, but a great way to compete in every single game is to make sure that they don't score and
Yeah.
having a really good defense.
Well,
I
and
also like looking at these.
the thing that people don't take for granted with sacks is that, and pass rushers, is that those are negative plays, right? So those are drive stoppers. When you get sacked, you're getting sacked for 5 to 10 yard loss. Like it gets really hard on like 3rd and 18 to get a first down. It's the
Right.
percentage. If you look at the percentages, it's super low. So if you have a really good pass rush that actually gets home, like that's just ridiculous.
And you think about some of the records for the people on the teams that are high on this list. Myles Garrett, Brian Burns, bad teams, right? Houston's up here
Yep.
twice in the top 5. They're a playoff team right now, or in the hunt. Micah, Green Bay's in the hunt. Denver's in the hunt. Top seed. Arizona's one of the worst teams. Josh Sweat's on here. Byron Young. They might be, in my opinion, I think the Rams are the best team in the NFL. I've been saying that since the beginning of the season. Detroit is in the playoff hunt, and then the Chargers are in the playoff hunt. They've looked awful. And then Chicago, Montez Sweat, tied for 11th with Jonathan Cooper's with Denver. And then Rashawn Gary also tied for 11. So, I mean, even then TJ Watt and Will McDonald are tied for 14th at 7. Everyone on this list, pretty much, except for a few guys, what is this, 4 or 5 guys are in the playoff hunt. So you can have a difference maker.
I think with the Browns, like you can argue like, oh well, they've got the best pass rusher in like ever, but their offensive situation is awful. So like you could have the best defense in the world, and if your offensive situation is awful, unless you're scoring on defense, you're not winning games.
Yeah. I mean the total defense was on the wrong side here.
I don't know how they haven't fired Stefanski yet.
I think they will at the end of the year. By the way, the top defenses by yards allowed per game is Houston, Cleveland, Denver, Green Bay, Chargers, Chiefs, Seattle, New England, and then the Rams, Lions, Vikings, New Orleans Saints up here somehow, and then Buffalo just to round it out. I mean, a lot of these just points per game. I think it's crazy to see Cleveland be in a top 10 position at 22.2. The best defense per game, 16.3 for the Rams. Pretty much everyone on this list is in the playoffs besides Cleveland.
Yeah.
It's like, that's just sad. I mean, because, what do you got to do? 40 points a game. Like Dallas, Dallas has the best, I think, total yards per game, but their defense has been better in the last few weeks, but they still have a long way to go.
Well, yeah, they got 2 really good pieces.
Yeah. I would say 3, right?
Yeah.
Because you got Quinnen Williams and Kenny Clark from the Micah deal, and you got Logan Wilson, and then didn't they get someone else?
Is Logan Wilson starting for them?
I think he's playing quite a bit.
You want to know something funny? That's my brother-in-law's name.
Logan Wilson.
Yep.
You should say, yeah, I can't be there. I got to play on Thanksgiving. Sorry, bruh.
Yeah.
I mean, I can look up the snap counts.
He only had 1 tackle in his first game, so I was wondering if he was actually playing a lot.
Yeah, it's not showing his snap count.
Don't ask me how I remember that stuff. I just go on ESPN and look at the stats from the games for whatever reason. I don't know why.
You like looking at it?
I guess.
He's had 47% of the snap counts since being in Dallas. So he's a 50-50 guy. I wouldn't say he's a starter. Yeah. Okay. He's not playing special teams there.
So I figured since last week we did that little snippet on what's chapping my ass this week.
I like that.
I have something that I think is a good conversation starter for you and I.
Yep.
Because I do think it's very relevant to the industry that we're in, and it's very mindset related. But you ever go on a post where like someone has like a great before and after, and it's automatically when you go on that post, people give like, instead of saying like, hey, great job, or this is so cool, or whatever, it's here's 10 excuses as to why you were able to do this and why I can't do this. And they're all like just BS excuses. So, that guy, Brian Johnson, that spends $2 million a year trying to live to be like 200 years old or whatever. And so he made a
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, so he looks like a vampire, like whatever, but like, and apparently he uses his son's blood and transfuses it into his own blood or whatever. But
Is that allowed?
so
Oh, I see you follow him.
He made this post about
I'm on his page now.
the some of the great outcomes that he's had with his regiment, right? And so what people automatically go to do is they'll like in the comment section is like, you have all of this time to do all of these things because you're a billionaire or because you have money, or this guy spends his whole life trying to live forever but doesn't actually live life, or I would love to see studies done for perimenopausal and postmenopausal women and how it affects. It's like, hold on a second.
Yeah.
I understand with that guy because he's like way on the other end of the spectrum with doing like really crazy shit. But what is it about someone trying to like better themselves that triggers other people to say negative shit that as to why they can't do something? You know what I mean? Like, I've had people say shit to me like, well, you work from home and you have a garage gym and,
Yep.
blah, blah, blah. It's like, hold
You
on a
do.
second. Like, yeah, I do, but
Yep.
I have a full-time job that requires
Mm-hmm.
attention, that requires me to stop and go and do different things, right?
Right.
And I invested into the things that I care about. So just because your garage is full of a bunch of boxes full of shit that you don't use and a lawnmower that's
Storage
broken and
unit.
has gas leaking out of it and oil leaking out of it, like, who are you to comment on my situation that I personally built for myself through my life experiences and all the other jobs that I've worked? And yes, I've been lucky and blessed, but let's not start judging people based on their situation, because one thing that Brian Johnson said was that, yeah, everyone tries to think that he came from money, and he didn't. He actually came from poverty, and he built his way into an entrepreneur, lost money for 10 years before making all the money that he has now. And it's like, can you really sit there and judge somebody because they have the life that you want and they choose to live that life that way? So for me, when people are so negative, and that's just a 2025 thing for right now, is like, you can pinpoint it to anything. I just feel like if you can get yourself into a mindset, you can achieve just about whatever it is that you want to achieve. I don't care what you have in front of you. Oh, I'm a single mom that's working 3 jobs and I'm not getting any child support. Cool. I've worked with those people, and they made the sacrifice of paying for a service that I provide, and they got the result that they wanted. So what's your excuse? You know what I mean? And it's always, people always create these false roadblocks as if you can't achieve the unachievable, and you can. It's just a matter of like, do you really care enough to do that? And that's what it boils down to. Like, let me make all these excuses, but I don't really give a shit if I'm successful in whatever I want to be successful in or not. You know what I mean? And that's what's chapping my ass this week.
This segment has been brought to you by Chapstick by Burt's
Chapstick.
Bees. Burt's Bees chapstick.
Chapstick for your butt.
Chapped lips, chapped ass. We've got you. Yeah, to respond to what you said, I think that we have to deconstruct the issue that they have. And I think it's the classic, they're projecting their anger onto others when they have a problem with themselves. Like, that I love food. That the biggest thing always holding me back, and I always am very upfront with you, is like, hey, like, the training has been great. I get to sleep on time. I wake up. I make sure I stay hydrated. Nutrition's always going to be the gap, right? We have had this conversation dozens of times. Like, hey, that's holding you back, but if everything else is in check, we're proud of that, right? Instead of knocking me down. I do think that most people respond to some sort of positive reinforcement. There are a small amount of people that enjoy the David Goggins, like, hey, like, don't keep complain, like, just work harder, no one cares, yada yada. I think when it comes to training, I definitely allow myself to get wrapped up into that. But when it's everything else, it's, don't focus your anger on someone else because you're upset about the things that you do. And to go to the home gym or making time at your full-time job to get your workouts in, I do the same thing. this is important to me. My health is important. I'm going to make sure I build time into my schedule. It baffles me that people think that it's easy to do all those things. It's actually harder to be so busy and make sure that health is a priority. It's way easier to just sit on the couch and eat donuts and eat whatever you'd like and smoke tobacco or smoke weed or drink alcohol and not get good sleep and continuously adding more screen time, et cetera, right? It's so easy to do those things because we have an environment that is just begging us to give in, to ring that bell, so to speak. And if it were that easy, then everyone would do it. So if it is important to you, you're right. And I actually saw something last night. I was just scrolling, right, mindlessly, and it said Tracy Morgan, I think, made a comment about if you put your mind to it, like I think someone had like put up this meme, which memes are never real, right? It's like, oh, like I saw a friend and he like didn't want to pay for Ozempic, so instead he just thought like anytime I'm hungry, I'm just gonna ignore the food, the food noise, and he lost 50 pounds. Like it was definitely fake, right? And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, if it were that easy, like there would never be any overweight people, right?
Yeah.
If an addict, someone who's addicted to cocaine. Hey, just like don't do cocaine anymore. Okay. Or alcohol, right? It's a prime example. It's the holiday season. Hey, Justin, just like don't drink, dude. It's not even that hard. No, dude, you have a mental disease that is telling you, please drink, please drink, please drink. It's begging you to drink. And
Which,
you're the
not for
one that
nothing,
has to do it.
GLP-1s do fix both of those issues, ironically. But
Yeah. I don't care if people drink and have a good time. I was actually talking with Blythe about this. We were just like texting and how like someone makes their newfound thing like their entire personality.
yeah,
Right. And it's like, I don't care if someone's entire new personality is health and wellness, but definitely don't do it in the way that you're putting down others. Like, you don't care about your family. So that's why you don't work out. Or you could say it in a way of, hey, I want to be around as long as possible for my family. So that's why I'm doing this. Like, that is
right.
my why, right? I think there's a certain way to say it. I don't think that you and I have ever put down people and said, you are actually lazy and you don't care about anything because you're not working out. I think
Yeah.
that there's a way to say that, right? Is, hey, like I do care and this is my why. That's way more engaging to me, I think, as far as like social media or just having a conversation with people. And if you convert your life into a very healthy one, you're going to weed those people out anyway.
Well, I think most of the problem, especially from a social media perspective, is that Instagram awards all of the rage bait and the
Yeah.
trolls.
They love clickbait, rage bait.
And when you stir up, I mean, literally, people pay bots to go in and make comments under their account so that people will agree with what they say, like it, and then
Yeah.
go and follow their account. Like, sometimes it's not even real, but I've seen that this particular situation enough to know that there's a lot of negativity out there, and there's a lot of people that live in glass houses that like to throw stones.
Maybe I should be more negative. I posted that reel yesterday and I was looking at I switched it back to a professional account just so I could see. And like I told Emily this. I'm like, I don't need the likes. I think it's interesting that people say they support you and then they don't engage with your stuff because they don't really care. They're
Right.
watching you. The people that are negative are always watching you, but they never support you. And there are
Right.
people that are going to support you to your face or online that secretly are behind your back talking crap about you. But I would just say that, like, I mean, your post pops up. We're friends, right? Your
Yeah.
post pop up, and I'm like, oh yeah, I like my friend, like I love my friend Justin. I'm gonna love his post, dude, every time.
Yeah.
It's just automatic with me. Versus like you're liking stuff from like some celebrity that you're never gonna know. I don't even care who it is, right? It doesn't have to be someone we both know. It can be anyone.
Yeah.
I think that you spending time to do that, but not liking something that your friend is doing that you supposedly support, that just shows you the fakeness of it all. And
Yeah.
it drives home the point that people are driven by negativity and responding negatively to something than instead of using like love and support.
Yeah, I think if I know people that I follow or that I trust, and they have their own business that they run by themselves, and that's how they support their family, and I genuinely have a need for their stuff, I'm going to use their stuff before I use or pay for their stuff before I pay for anybody else's that's run by a corporation. That's what America's built on, small business. And so for me, like, granted, like, I don't have any offers that are like, subscriptions or anything like that. So I don't get upset if somebody tells me they're, they used to work with me and now they're following a $30 a month subscription. I understand because I don't have that to offer. But if I do have something to offer and that person trusts me and they're going to somebody else to do it, like I can see where somebody might kind of be disappointed that they do it. But for me, tend to gravitate towards taking ownership for that situation, and that I didn't provide that person something that they needed. And so it's my fault that they went to kind of look elsewhere. So I try not to take that negative approach. Oh, well, such and such took steroids and Ozempic to get to the goal that they're at, and they're using that to, lift themselves up or whatever. Like I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole of like conspiracy theories. Well, this person's doing this and they're using it to make
Right.
money. It's like,
and who cares if they are, right?
right.
It's like you see someone on your feed and let's say they were very overweight, like 80 pounds overweight. You help them, let's say, lose 20, and then they lost the other 60 working with someone else or with you, or maybe like you've been following their journey. Why would you respond negatively to that? It's like, that's great, dude. That's one less person, hopefully, that is attached to big pharma, that is having to, be an added weight, no pun intended, on their family. Like, oh man, like so and so might die of heart failure because they're just super unhealthy, right?
Well, you and I both know a female individual that I helped when I was working at 5 Star.
Yep.
And
I know you're
they
talking about.
lost a ton of weight, and
Mhm.
they used TikTok to kind of show their transformations. And then they were approached, and this person's wasn't a trainer at the time, and they were approached by an investor, and they said, "Hey, if we build you an app, we'll collect X amount, and you
Mm.
keep X amount, and we'll make the workouts and all this stuff, and you're just the face of
Yeah.
it, right?" And they
Right.
built a business. They built a
Mhm.
business that way. Even though, like, I would say that that's probably not the best route for like experience purposes to have somebody to work with. Like, I'm not going to say like that's so illegitimate. Like, they still did the work to get themselves where they needed to get to, and
Absolutely.
they built a business that
Yeah.
way. So
And they're a good person.
yeah,
Don't have any issues.
I'm not gonna
Yeah.
hate like you do. Like, if you do OnlyFans and you make $100,000 a month, like, cool,
Yeah.
sell your feet pics. But
Yeah.
like,
The money doesn't matter because if you genuinely support your friend, and let's just say, like, I think we've talked about this before, like we know people that have those sort of accounts, right?
yep,
And we've talked about this and it's like, that's irrelevant to both of us. Like, why does that matter? Like, if that's how they make money or, they support their family, why does it matter to you? And it shouldn't, right? I mean,
yeah.
we've had this conversation too about like, being a good person and like whether it's tied to faith or not, you're not ever supposed to speak ill of someone. Like gossip is not going to elevate you, right? Like it's
Right.
not going to make you better. So I mean, you can have your own opinions, and then I think that we always have to come back to humbling ourselves and saying, hey, is this serving me? Is this making me better? Or is this actually tearing me down? Like, because now I'm distracting myself from improving myself and making your family so much
Yeah, and
better.
the sad part about it is, and we can move on from this here, but the
Yeah.
sad part about it is 99.9999% of the people that are talking crap about you when you're successful, they're not doing as good as you. And that's why they're talking crap, because they have some kind of deeply rooted inner issue that triggers them to say bad things about somebody that's doing better than them. And that's really annoying, unfortunately, but that's the world we live in.
I completely agree. Dude, I think it chaps my ass too that people are driven by negativity. They surround themselves with negativity. I mean, I think I've said this before, but we wonder why we have a country with so many overweight, depressed, anxious human beings. We have so much of it around us, and we have to make the choice daily to say, hey, I'm going to choose to be positive today. I'm going to choose to do the hard things that make me better as a man or a woman or whomever, a husband, a father, right? All the things that we are, right? We're a husband, we're a father, we're a son, we're an uncle, right? I mean, those things are so important to me. And I know to both of us that if it's not serving those things and making you better, why concern yourself with it?
And all of that is directly correlated to why people act the way that they do,
Yeah.
right? So if you want to not be a negative Nancy all the time, maybe take a little bit better care of yourself.
Yeah. Or just, I mean, pick one thing. I was listening to a behavior analyst yesterday. She was interviewed on the West Side Barbell podcast. I would think it was like over a year ago, maybe even 2 years ago. But she was talking about that as well. Like, you have to look at what environments are throwing you off, and then like trying to adjust to those things, and also removing yourself from those environments. If certain things are hurting your performance because of either people or environments around, you have to remove yourself. You have to make that decision.
Yeah.
I know today, so I'm gonna upload this today. So hopefully this is the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. So we're recording this on November 25th. But I wanted to make sure we did a part of Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
and
let's
with
do
the
that
holidays
now.
coming up. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's do that, and then we'll get into the main topics. Thanksgiving's coming up. We've got 2 days. Like I said, hopefully this is up tonight, so then people can listen to this maybe on their holiday or beforehand. And I know that for me, at least, every single year the holiday would approach, and you can tell me what your thoughts were as well, Justin. Every single year it would be like, I really don't want to overeat, right? As a kid, I didn't really think about it, and then I got into high school sports, and then it was recreational sports as well. Well, now if I eat too much, it's okay because I'm a kid. And then it became, well, now I'm older and I really don't want to eat too much because I have all these responsibilities. And now, as a father of a 13-month-old or 14 months, I think it is, for Theo, hey, I still have a job to do with him on Thursday, and I still have the job on Friday because Emily's working. And then the weekend, you're always working, right? As a parent. And during the week, he goes to school, right? But I'm still dealing with pickups and drop offs and all that sort of stuff. Thanksgiving approaches, I am anxious because I want to make sure I am not overeating, but also using those calories efficiently. So still working out on those days. It's not an excuse for me. You and I have had that talk as well. Like, hey, don't just take the day off. Do something in the morning or do something later on after family's left for the day. You can still use it as a regular training day. Just because it's a holiday doesn't mean you can't train. So just wanted to hear your thoughts on Thanksgiving approaching and maybe any tips you can give to our listeners.
I think first and foremost, what people need to do is break down the minutia of what that meal is, what Christmas Eve meal is, what New Year's Eve meal is, and just view it as just that. So if you're somebody that does good 325 days out of the year, let's say 355 days out of the year, and then you have 10 days that are special events, birthdays, holidays, right? What is Thanksgiving meal? It's one meal. Okay. What is Christmas Eve dinner meal? It's one meal. Does one or two or three meals break anything? Does it set you back in the grand scheme of all the meals that you're going to eat in a year, which let's just take the standard American diet of 3 meals per day, 365 times 3. So that's 1,095 meals, right?
Mm-hmm.
3 meals is going to make or break someone's progress based on that. Almost 1,100 meals. No. Okay. So if you're somebody that is fairly fit and you're not engaging in any type of program that is designed for you to lose weight at that given time, you have nothing to worry about. You just need to go and enjoy yourself and your family and have a good time. Now, the second stage of that is, okay, well, maybe I am engaging in a routine and I'm trying to lose weight or I'm trying to stay lean through the holidays or whatever. Cool. I would still say number one meal's not going to make or break. However, you and I both know that we could easily sit down and within normal parameters can probably put back 5 to 10,000 calories of all the things. Specifically, if it's like a lot of ultra processed stuff, like it's really easy to get 5 to 10,000 calories if you sit there and you kind of dwindle and eat and talk and eat some more. Like it can definitely happen. Yes, that can obviously lead to some, weight gain for a week or two, and then you end up burning it all off. But so in that situation, I say number 2 is then you need to just pay attention to, hey, I'm full. It's time to stop, right? there's leftovers, you can come back to it later, whatever. It's full. It's time to, I'm full. It's time to stop. Okay. The third thing is going to be, I will move the days around. And since, what does it fall on Thursday?
Every year.
Yeah, so you can do this if you, that's typically
Thanksgiving
like a
gym.
conditioning day for us, right? So
Yeah.
like if you have a conditioning day set for Thursday, which most of my clients do just based on how I make the weeks out, what we
Right.
can do is shift a strength day to Thanksgiving and then flip around and do the conditioning day on the following day.
See, I'd rather do the conditioning day on Thanksgiving.
Well, so here's why. When you do conditioning, there's not as much metabolic demand because
Yeah.
remember, we're conditioning for this. We're conditioning for the heart.
Right.
We're conditioning to improve work capacity. We're not conditioning to burn calories or
I
anything
see
like
what you're
that.
saying.
But
Yeah.
we know for a fact that strength training not only burns more calories intra training, but
Yeah.
also post training. Whereas with conditioning, you typically, especially if it's aerobic, so you see people that do like the turkey trot or
Yeah.
they'll go for a long run, like that's cool, but you stop burning the minute you're done and your hunger goes through the roof, right?
Right.
So now you're just feeding storage, right? Versus if I strength train, I've broken down some muscle tissue. I have to repair that and build it back, and I have to replete glycogen stores. So I'm getting kind of like a double whammy benefit of strength training on a higher
Nice.
caloric day because it's going to help me recover better, help me build more muscle, but I'm also burning more calories when I'm done training. Does that make sense?
No, absolutely. I would
Versus
say, yeah.
the running or the running, for instance, the turkey trots, the marathons, when you're done, you're done. And we know pretty spot on that there's not a big difference in how many calories you burn between walking and running. The biggest difference is one is highly stressful to the
Mhm.
system versus one isn't stressful at all, right?
Yeah.
So in comes number 4. Go for a walk after your meals,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Those are my top things that someone would need to do to have a successful Thanksgiving and still be able to enjoy themselves.
Yeah. To summarize, it was take the meals into account of all throughout the year. So understand the small significance of 1 to 3 meals on holiday season, holidays. I also looked up physical activity tends to decrease. Like that's why
Right.
people are gaining now 1 to 5 pounds. Like people thinking it's 5 to 10 pounds, it's actually closer to like 1 pound for most people, or the average is 1 pound gained. And I would say, by the way, Thursday I'm still going to do my usual conditioning, but I also go on like a 4.5 mile walk. So I enjoy going on a very long walk. I don't know
And
how
that's
you feel
okay.
about
Like,
that. Yeah.
I don't think you're in the situation where you have to be
Right.
concerned with if you gained
Yeah.
3 or 4 pounds, which people remember carbs hydrate. That's why they
Right.
call it carbohydrate. So what's happening is you eat a bunch of carbs and you take in a bunch of liquids. And then there's a ton of salt in everything that you eat. So you balloon up from your body holding on to that
Mhm.
water because carbs go into the cell and then draw in 30% of their weight in grams to the cell. And you hold on to that for a couple days. So that's why people can gain 5, 6, 7, 8 pounds from Thanksgiving. It's not fat unless you don't do anything. It can be fat. But if you're a normally active person, it's not fat, it's water, which
Yeah. It's
then you
water.
end up
Yeah.
sweating out over the course of the next week.
Right. And then I think during the holiday season too, right? Like less activity. So you're traveling with your family, and if you don't have access to a gym, make sure you go on your walks every day. If you do have access to a gym, I'm traveling in a few weeks, right? For work. I've already mapped out, okay, I already know where I'm gonna go to work out. I already know I'm gonna switch some things around that week because I'm
Right.
staying with my coworker slash friend. Okay, what do I need to do every single day to make sure I still knock this out? And that is very important, right? Because what is
Right.
the goal overall? It's still to become healthy, still, become healthier, become in better shape. I mean, we're just chatting about this. Like, how do I get down my numbers, my time on in the gym versus, just taking way too much time being on the phone, stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, having a plan, making sure you're building in the time. I think working or we're not working out after you eat, taking a walk after you eat, even if it's just for 10 minutes, is so much better than just sitting on the couch and doing nothing.
And if it's cold or rainy outside and you have, some people have a walking pad, do that. Or some people have a stationary bike, do that. Like, the point is the reason why the walking is so great for digestion, specifically, is because when you walk, your hips are moving with your legs, which then kind of like massages your gut and gets the food to move and digest faster versus it just kind of sitting there, which then makes you lethargic, and then you take a nap, and all these different things happen. And so I think the other thing is you're telling your body to use what you just ate as an energy source because you're moving. So naturally that puts you in a better net situation to not hold on to a bunch of the junk that you just ate.
Right. Going back to hey, you can always get seconds. Like, I know on Thursday, Emily's going to make an apple pie. We actually did a daycare drop-off apple pie. My mom made 2 chocolate pies. So there's going to be chocolate pie at the house. There's going to be apple pie. And then I think she's making a pecan, or maybe there was something else. It's like, hey, you can have 1 slice and then come back later on and have that second slice, but make sure you're eating more protein. Prioritize protein, prioritize physical activity, specifically walking. We just talked about massaging the gut to make sure you're just storing it, and enjoy yourself. I think enjoying yourself is the biggest part, right? Don't sit there and be mopey with your takeout container unless you're in a contest prep for something where you have to control every single calorie and you're close to a contest. Yeah, then that makes sense. But if you're not, enjoy yourself.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like, I'm not gonna cut any corners on, because I have Thursday here, Friday at my brother-in-law's house for Thanksgiving. So both spreads will be now. Here we're gonna do like a little less traditional in terms of, like, we're still going to have some turkey, but we're going to have a roasted chicken and then steak as like the main course. And then Friday will
just
be
the Commodores family, like you and Megan.
It's just my direct family. So like my kids and my wife, and then my mother and father-in-law will be here.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And then the following day will be my brother-in-law and his kids, my kids, my wife, and then his parents.
Where are your parents?
In Florida.
Oh, right. They're not coming. They're doing Christmas with you?
It's probably not this year. It's just they're getting to the point where it gets so cold up here. They're like, they don't want to be stuck in the house. They want to do things. And if it's snowing and freezing and icy, like,
they're in their 70s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how I'm going to feel at 70, but if I lived in your environment at 70, I'd probably want to be outside if it was nice and be pissed if I had to be inside.
They did. I mean, they both grew up in New York, so they did it long enough in their life to be like, they don't want to deal with that anymore.
Hey, I feel the same way. We're going to New York in a month at the end of the month, the end of the year, which I don't know if I told you. And I'm not looking forward to the weather. I'm looking forward to everything else. I'd never seen Rockefeller Center, so I'm hoping that I get to go there. If I don't, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
And we get to see family, but the weather is like, I've already bitched about it to Emily. She's like, we're not even there yet, and you're already complaining. I'm like, I know, it's just so cold. I don't like wearing pants.
Yeah.
Big shorts guy. Big shorts,
same.
Sweatpants guy. Don't want to wear
Dave, I've never in my life worn golf pants to play golf, ever. I wore them all the time at 5-star because we had to wear slacks, and I wanted to be in something comfortable, but I had never played golf in golf pants until this month and last month. And it's definitely an adjustment.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, so we covered Thanksgiving. We covered what was trapping your ass. All right, well, we have decided that we are actually going to, Justin just texted me in the chat here, that we're going to do our next episode on a specific topic that we had thought about doing at this time, but we want to have a quick, easy episode to talk about Thanksgiving and what was grinding your gears earlier. So we made sure to get in those 2 segments. We hope everyone has an amazing holiday weekend. Happy Thanksgiving to those who celebrate. If you don't, I would just say that spend some time with people that you really care about, people that you love. Make sure you're still moving during this time period, and make sure you enjoy it wherever you are. For Justin Commodores and Common Athlete Performance Coaching, I've screwed up the outro so bad here, so I'm sure everyone will enjoy it. I'm Dave Chase. We thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk to you all next time.
Peace.